but I do think it can die with the way that it's managed.
Yes.
While watching that whole Minecraft Live update, I was reading the chat. Uh, every now and again, I had to pause the chat just so I could read a comment or something. But the thing that stood out most was people saying they cannot stand this report feature.
Oh, yes.
And of course, that has ruined a lot of people. Now, I feel like it's okay to talk about it, but of course, we've got to think in a physical type aspect, as in not to get me in trouble or anyone else in trouble, but also just to discuss everything that's happening. And with this whole like community up, I believe the reporting feature. In all honesty, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the reporting update, but the only thing they should change is the fact that it should be optional, not required on all servers. Now, of course, the wonderful modding community have already created those mods that basically allow you to disable it anyway.
Yeah.
But it should be optional in the options.txt file when you first set up a server.
I'm pretty sure they've turned off. They've added a secure. And if I go into my server config, because I'm running the latest 1.19, and
Secure
I'm
chat
pretty
forces
sure.
Secure chat forces the client to be able to make sure that it has it enabled, but it's always enabled by default. So even if I'm on this server here and secure chat is not enabled in the true, it will still work unless, of course, one message is not there. It's not going to get the correct message signature, so it's not going to work. That based on clients, it's more client side. It's not based on the server side. So the server can't say,
Yeah.
no, I want this disabled completely on this server. Because for
Enforce
me, there are
secure
some.
profile. That's it.
Yeah. For me, there's this server right this second, like Fairyland. It's an 18 plus server. It's the only reason why you're not really on it, I believe. But
Yeah.
it's an 18 plus server. Only 18 plus can join. Well, you have to join via watching channels such as mine or other channels and earn 8,000 channel points. Absolutely fine. But it's 18 plus, so of course the communication could be a little bit more mature. That's brilliant. But of course, there are sometimes, for example, if I was having a joke with, let's say, Mr. Brownstone on here and just said something like, that hurt, or something like that, like really joking, or even that hurt could be taken the wrong way, and someone could report it and go, oh, they're doing something or offending me or something. As soon as you put that, it's political correctness gone wrong, I think, in the grand scheme of things. I want to see what's down here.
I mean, they have improved this by adding like the fact that I'm pretty sure there will always be context to that message. They'll take a few messages either side and basically give that to the moderators, and from that they will have enough context to make a decision. It's the fact that on the SMPs it's really not necessary, and even on big named servers as well. The whole point of a server, of a big Minecraft server, community server.
Most of those servers, including servers I've set up before, where I was more child focused, like I knew there was more of a child audience that was going to be joining it, I always set up mods and plugins that will block certain words.
Actually,
so the server would actually
servers hire moderators to moderate their own servers. That's how it's worked since the dawn of time. Since
the dawn of multiplayer.
Yeah, so that was what was it?
Won the betas. I think it was 0.9. I think.
I'm not 0.9.
So 0.9. Either it was something before it went live. I think it was something before it went live, or it was the exact point of going live, 1.0. It was that earlier on, but it was really early. Either way, it was really early.
Yeah, by the looks of this, it was.
I'm just going to put a quick update in the very last. Just say Rocket Shop updated.
2011.
Yeah.
That's how it's worked for over 10 years. And there's no point in changing it now. When we already know that it's worked for that amount of time, adding an extra form of confusion and form of Microsoft, who bought the company back in what?
Microsoft are getting the blame for it, but I don't think it's all Microsoft's fault. In all honesty, I don't actually. Well, the thing is, we're okay to speculate about things, but you got to think about it. We weren't in the decision when they thought of the report feature update. We weren't in that meeting, so we can't say decisively this was a Microsoft thing or decisively this was a Mojang thing. It's a Minecraft thing, which is a collective group of both, and that's as far as I'm willing to put it, because if, for example, you start doing that, that is becoming slanderous of a certain company. And I don't want to be slanderous of a certain company, especially as one of them is one of my business partners. So I have to be careful.
Yeah. To be honest, most of the evidence does point to Microsoft. However, I'm not going to say it is, but I'm going to say most of the evidence does point to Microsoft. For example, the fact that everyone's forced to migrate their accounts to a Microsoft account, and that everyone was forced to sign the EULA when starting a server, which basically makes it that Microsoft has permission to ban players on your Minecraft server, and for you to get banned if you say something not very nice.
Yeah, and if you are banned, if the part that I think affects a lot of people, and this is the bit that really pains, is that the bans are indefinite. That's the worst. There's no defined time. Like, in most communities, most situations, some servers will do a ban for lifetime. Absolutely fine. But a lot of the time, that's enough of a punishment to be banned for lifetime on a server, let alone the whole of Minecraft. Minecraft's still a game.
It's the fact that you have paid for a game that you should have the right to play. I get that you can be banned from Minecraft multiplayer. If it was just Minecraft multiplayer, and I'm pretty sure it still is Minecraft multiplayer, I'm pretty sure single player you're not banned from. No.
No, the reason for this, and I know exactly the reason why this whole reporting feature came about, is because EU laws and everything else has come about saying we need to protect our younger generations. So people underneath the age of 18 need to be more protected, mainly because of the amount of harmful content that people see online. I fully agree with that, but I also don't always blame the social networks. I don't always blame what children see. Because in all honesty, if you're a good parent, you check what the child's doing on the PC. You check what's happening. You check what they're seeing. For example, there's plenty of parental control tools that allow you to see exactly what's happened on the screen without you even noticing. And a child doesn't even have to know that it's on there. But it's nice to have that one-to-one. It's between a parent and a child.
Oh,
and the parent should,
within reason,
the parent should obtain trust and say, just to let you know, I've put this software on your PC. I'll be able to see what you're doing. So if you do get up to anything wrong, we'll have a discussion, or if you see anything nasty, let me know. But that gives that two-way conversation to actually happen. If it's not, for example, if parents don't give a flying toss about monitoring their chat, then why are they starting control? Why have they, passed a law that now social networks have to take it? Yes, I know social networks are there, but technically social networks are 13 plus.
Yep.
Do they enforce that bit? No, and I think they should enforce. I think if you have been said this is 13 plus, I think that should be enforced. I think they should have some comeuppance or some things happening. If, for example, you say this is meant to be 13 plus, and for example it's found out that under 13s are joining or under 18s are joining a certain site or something like that, I think there should be a result that happens in normal situations, that they become, financially in the wrong for this as well. If that makes sense.
There is no way to prove a person's age by other than what is your birthday? Oh, it's in 2002. Oh, I'm over 18. Other than literally providing them with an ID, which is the only way.
ID or credit card.
Yeah, but if it's a network with 13 plus, 13.
13. There needs to be.
There is no form of ID. On the birth certificate.
That we need to do it. Well, actually, there is certain things in the UK. We have different things that allow you to, recognise that you're 13 or that you're over 16 or something. So you can buy certain products, without, having to get 13 these things. They're like student IDs or something, and you get past. Basically, your parents apply for this IDs instead of taking driving license out or something. You can have this instead. And that's a brilliant system, but I think that should be turned digital. And the reason why I think that should be turned digital, and it should be open. So companies could then double check with that company and say, does this match up? It has a unique identifier that's linked to your name, your account, your name, your address, and it's linked to this database. The only problem about that is GDPR. But I think that should be a government thing that should be set up. But at the same time, I also am concerned about government taking data that they shouldn't have, which is why I see it's a catch-22 situation, because, of course, we don't want the government to have every single bit of information. But bear in mind, in the UK, we're one of the most watched countries in the UK. Simple.
Yep.
Cameras and everything else like no tomorrow. There's more cameras here than there are in most other countries.
Yeah. Actually, no, I'm not sure about people.
Yeah. I think there's two. No, I remember actually hearing that somewhere.
Two cameras for every one person in the UK.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I heard that in a. I'm not sure if it was a text I read in. Oh, was it? It was on the news, or it was a news report. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure. Oh, you're gonna search it up, aren't you?
Yep. And does he go here per person? So Britain has more surveillance activity than any other European country per capita. Latest CCTV statistics show that there is one security camera for every 13 people. So it's a little bit less, a little bit less, cameras. But I believe on average, how many times are you captured on CCTV UK? So research by Clarendon Security Systems estimated that there are over 7,371,903 CCTV cameras in the UK, meaning there is one CCTV camera for every 11 people in the UK. You are likely to be captured on UK CCTV up to 70 times per day. But of course, for example, inside, then of course you've got personal. I think that's like public CCTV. I don't know how we managed to get onto public CCTV. But then you've also got private CCTV. For example, Ring doorbell. How many times have you been captured on Ring doorbell walking to school, work, college?
Yeah.
Should I tell you what? I took the dogs out for a walk one day. This is a true story. It happened. I took the dogs out for a walk and I decided to count how many times I saw Ring doorbell. I lost count because there was that many. I literally the amount of there. And I also lost count the amount of times I saw CCTVs pointing outwards. Now, I've always been one of these weird people who can go, that's a CCTV camera, that's a CCTV camera. I can usually point out CCTV camera without having to worry and know exactly where it is. Like, even when I'm in this room here, yes, it's my bedroom, only I have access to it, but there's a camera directly above my head pointing down towards here. Why do I have that? It's because of the dogs. That way I can keep an eye on the dogs and make sure they are behaving and doing what they're meant to do, for example, when I'm out and stuff. So it gives that opportunity. And yes, I can turn them off in 2 seconds. and there's an opportunity to actually blank them. Not only can I physically turn them off, I can also, software blank them as well. So there is multiple different things, but having that extra cameras around different places, even in school, like most school playgrounds now, you are on CCTV whenever you are in a public space. That's for two reasons: safety of the child, and usually for them to capture whatever happened to get the truth out of what happened in a situation in school. And I bet you've been caught by that once before, haven't you?
Funny enough,
I was half expecting you to say
I
no
was
comment.
just about to say that. Yeah, funny enough, no comment on that one, just for the fact. I mean, I've definitely not been caught by CCTV before. It's just, there's no need to prove that either. So
yeah, exactly. But I'm stating a point. When you're in a certain place, you're on CCTV. So technically, if, for example, someone has CCTV location, and I'm not joking, you can buy these covert cameras that you can stick on a tree to look at. They're meant to be animal hedge cameras. You can stick those cameras anywhere. For example, I can stick cameras all the way around the road that I live in. 2 weeks later, I'll go back and click them. Most likely they're still there because most people completely don't pay any attention to them. They don't realise they're there. But as soon as, for example, you've got that, someone can go, right, this person leaves this house at this time in the morning and comes back at this time. It's a very much quickly pattern. They also go to this shop because they seem to be returning back with Waitrose carry bag as well. Inside the Waitrose carry bag, they have a breadstick sticking out, and I can also see that they eat crunchy nut cornflakes. Hey, I have a profile about that person. They like crunchy nut. They also eat bread. They eat breadsticks rather than just normal bread. So very quickly in this day and age, there's a program that I've been watching over the last couple of days, and I binge watched, and I'm not joking, binge watched a whole series of it last night. It's called Hunted. It's on Channel 4. Have you ever watched it?
I don't think I have. No.
Do yourself a favour, watch it. Hunted is absolutely brilliant. It's to the fact that it was so brilliant, I wanted to watch one episode last night, and I was going to watch another episode tonight, and so forth. No, I watched the whole series in one night. I was a little bit tired this morning when I woke up. But it's that good. And what Hunted is basically it gives a team of hunters the power of the state. Now, I don't know why they call it the power of the state, when really we're not even a state, but power of the country. They have access to CCTV, they have access to phone records, they have access to your computer histories whenever you browse the internet, they have access to your bank cards whenever you go shopping, they have access to everything. They can very quickly profile you. Because, of course, you're technically classed as a fugitive on the run. You have to last for about 21 days, I believe it is. So you go and run, you get jumped off in a location, and then you got to hide away from these hunters. It's a brilliant program. I want to go on to at the same time. I really don't want to, because the amount of information they go into is scary. It's to the fact that I would wipe everything way before going on this program and never talk about anything. Because, of course, it is that much of a security risk that they can look up your information on it. But it shows you what they can do. They can see your CCTV. For example, there was one in the latest season. This person got into a car. They were able to track that car all the way up, I believe it was on motorway or something, to a services. Person got dropped off. The car then went backwards. So they knew the person went off the services. They then looked into the services, looked at every single CCTV camera, saw the person get out of the car, saw the person flag down another car. That car now has telemetrics. Now, telemetrics, of course, allows a live location of exactly where you are. Guess what? They got caught.
What? Oh my goodness.
There's 11 contestants. I'll give you a clue. 2-1. And I was very pleased with the outcome. I was very, very pleased with the outcome. But it just shows you that there is, that opportunity in there. It's a program I would definitely watch. And actually, if you're thinking about that, there's a YouTube series that I've been watching. It's I've got to find exactly what it's called because I've actually. It's to the fact. Have you ever watched Wendover Productions?
No.
Okay, his name's called Sam, and he's currently doing a channel. He's currently doing a series. I believe, he talks about all different things about the world and how different things happen. It's brilliant. Channel I recommend. I'll tell you what, it's that good that I'm going to do myself a favour and send a link to its channel in my chat. There you go. Nice old shout out for Wendover Productions. Brilliant. But that's not the channel I'm looking at, because there's a channel as well that I've been watching like no tomorrow. It's called Jetlag the Game.
Oh, yes, I've been watching that too.
Yeah. So if you've been watching Jetlag the Game, you know exactly what I'm about to talk about. The 72-hour worth game of tag.
Yeah.
iPhones. Live location. How much data do these companies have about us? To go truly off-grid, you've got to have no phone. Completely no phone. You've got to have no internet connection. And you've also got to be in the middle of nowhere and never use a debit card, a card, or anything else. And you've also got to, if you do go and you've got to catch your own food, everything else. You've got to basically be completely anonymous and not be able to be seen. That's how you survive on Hunted, and that's how you survive on all this. But of course, in that 72-hour game of tag, you've got to keep your phone on, which is really annoying. But you see what I mean? Like the data protection on that is crazy. So technically, we have the things out there, and the technology could be done. That, for example, there could be this data site that could be done to protect children. I may have just come up with something, and gov.uk, if you're watching at any one time randomly, feel free to, credit me, give me some funds, or, seek out my suggestions for these ideas, because I can help you with that. But I'm not willing to do that myself. But if you want to have it, you're more than welcome to. Just do me a favour, credit me, but credit me as anonymous. You get what I mean? Credit me as anonymous, because I don't want to be the one that gets caught for that does it wrong. But I can see how things would work out best if, for example, they had a system in child identity. We're going on about child identity verification, weren't we? How we can verify child's age.
Yeah.
So I've got to find this. Let me do one thing. Verify age card. I've forgotten what it is. I think it's by proof of age card. I believe citizencard.com. You ever heard of it?
Nope.
Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to do something strange here. I'm going to actually change the screen. You're going to be able to watch something new. Let's go ahead and turn on my display capture. So this is Citizen Card. It's something I used to have as a child. It allows you to verify that you're 18 plus, but you can also get ones from the post office as well. There's all different ones, and it shows your age as well. So you can say it allows you to enter categories and stuff like that. Basically, it's an ID card without having driving license or anything else like that. If they could link in with a database that links in with this, what does that make sense?
Yeah.
And if, for example, it would be a lot more easier way. And I believe there is also the post office identity card. I believe it's by the post office. Post office pass card. That's the one. Called pass card. Another one done by the post office. We have the facility. This is the NSPCC. Identity card. 16 plus. I believe there is one. So 16. Oh no, 16 plus. My ID card. Here you go. Here's another one. So this is an ID card. So, for example, do you know when you go to a cinema?
Yeah.
They want you to prove that you can actually watch this film, because it's a certain age requirement to be able to watch this.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. So, for example, you could link that in with the database. secure database, may I point out, that's massively encrypted, like not just military grade encrypted, like military grade encrypted on a secure server that no one can access at all. But you can always do lookups for certain information. You can do a lookup, like just it could even be, I'm thinking of coding here, REST API. Basically, you put in, and it returns two details, pass or fail. That's all it will ever return. Ask it for any more information, you've got a security breach there. But that's all it can ever return. It can always do the check, and then in the table it returns pass or fail. It does a check on your date of birth that you enter into the website. It does a check onto your full legal name that you put into that system. And it also does a photo check. Maybe it does a photo check, and it has like a Face ID, face scanner on iPhones. You have that face scanner. It scans your. Not my microphone. It scans your face, so you got your face on record. It knows your record. That same technology could be used in this. Does this match this face on here? So, for example, if you want to go onto this website or this social network, you upload a profile picture. It has to match that profile picture. It has to match who that person is, and it has to you have to match all these details, and you also have to confirm your first line of your address and your full postcode, which most people don't share out that straight away, or something like that. Something that identifies you to that location. Or there's another option. You can only log into a social network when your school registers you. If you're under 18 and you cannot confirm your ID via driving license or via anything else, your school must register you. And that way your school is providing your date of birth. And that is an educational establishment, it's a government establishment, they're not going to fake the ages. And I'm going to give you a clue how I know about how I think this will work, because there was a company that used to work as a school, as a club that I used to run. Used to help manage when I was in school. It's no longer alive, which is really a shame because I would love to have worked for them. It's a company called Rafiki. Basically a school. It was a club online type thing. You would go online. It's a social network. You could chat. You could communicate. You could build stuff. You could create pages. You could it's a website development, but designed for kids to design websites and also chat and video conference with other schools around the whole of the world. It was a brilliant system. I became a moderator of, I think it was called the Schoolyard. I used to love that place because I was the only one who could actually physically edit that Schoolyard page and provide proper updates, proper pictures and stuff, and give a proper community. And the reason why is because they really loved what I was doing on that site. They loved the way I was working on it, which was brilliant. I kind of ruined that when I became one of those people. Not only was my internet history in the past has always been the case of uploading games to school intranet site and getting caught. Uploading it was called index.html, a brilliant HTML based on JavaScript that would completely destroy the PC because it would open billions of tabs by the end of the script. So it would crash the PC. The only way to crash that would be just crashing the internet, and that's it. And it would be done. But you could run that program and it would be done. Basically I created my very first virus in JavaScript. It's the only virus I've ever created. Can I remember how to do it now? No. Do I want to create it again? No. Not something.
Why wouldn't you? Stress test your PC.
No, it was just something that I was, wanting to do. So of course I did all that. And then the other one is in Rafiki. I somehow managed to have, not only did my Schoolyard editor permissions, they didn't code the correct backend, so the edit of the page, unfortunately, could also edit pupils. So I could create a new pupil on that site. I could create a new account. I could also create teachers. And the worst part is, I created that was one side. And I'm only admitting it now because they're closed down and they're no longer about. But I also created a fake school.
What?
I searched online for a school completely the opposite side of the world, registered online, applied online, and 4 or 5 days later, I got approved as a full-on teacher and had full administrative rights. So I gave myself administrative rights on my own account. I got caught. As soon as you give you an account. But of course, that it needs to be double-checked and verified and everything. Basically, what I'm saying is beta test your stuff. And if you're not entirely sure that you've done something correctly, it's called... This is the weirdest words for it, but in the technical term, it's called penetration testing. It's basically a way to test that you've got no back-end issues. Because as soon as you've got one small little issue, their small issue is the fact that editors could manage, accounts. As soon as that one issue is found, whole can of worms is open. They only have to have one door in, and that's it. They're done. Things you learn. I learned way too much for that system. If I seem to remember rightly, it was based on Flash.
Oh, God.
It was a Flash-based website. It was like Windows... Do you know, like Windows Vista? I think it was the time of Windows... It was either Windows Vista or Windows XP, but it was based on the Windows environment, so you'd have a start stuff done here. At one point it was start, but then they changed things about and do a different thing. But it was really nice and they had different applications. It was brilliant. I loved it. It was a club that I could reminisce into the past and I absolutely adored. And if I could go back in the past and do it all again, hell yes, I would go back to that club. But would I change things around and also inform them? Probably. Maybe. How many dolphins are in this blooming ocean?
Yeah, I mean, I every day that we have like a computing lesson or a lesson with computers, I physically have a USB drive with cmd.bat. So because they still haven't blocked, they've blocked. Do you know what OpenShell is?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've basically got that installed where it stops certain apps from like showing up, and they've also deleted like command prompt from appearing if you actually manage to get into the official Windows one. However, they haven't blocked batch files. What?
You've got command prompt. If you haven't seen command prompt, I'm going to show my screen again. You've got command prompt. Brilliant software is what you're talking about. Blah 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 blah. You can manage users. You can do basically everything with it. Do you know what the best part is? Close down that program. Open up another program called PowerShell.
I know.
I'm not joking. Even in the domain environment, which is more secure, PowerShell is not also locked down, and they can't lock it. And the same group policy that allows you to block command prompt from accident, it says command prompt has been disabled by the system administrator. Windows PowerShell is still available. Doesn't matter what you do, it's still available. So it's different things like that can, go crazy, if that makes sense.
It's crazy. It's the fact that they haven't even blocked batch files is scary.
Yeah, the fact they haven't blocked batch files can be done. You can do too much with it. I'm not joking. With my batch files, the worst part is if you can change one file, like rename one file in Windows. This is the worst part. If you go into the Windows recovery environment, do you know when people say I'm locked out of my Windows desktop?
Yeah.
As long as you've got recovery environment, you can do anything. You can get back into that account. Doesn't matter. And the reason why is because you go into the Windows recovery environment, you go into Windows System 32. No, you don't do that. Oh, I'm catching on fire.
Oh, that's what I do.
No, C Windows System 32. No, because you can't actually change the password in Windows recovery environment. It doesn't allow you to. You're not a full administrator. No, you're not a full administrator of the system. Wait for it. See Windows System 32. You then change... Do you know at the very bottom of the screen you've got that little accessibility icon on Windows Login?
Oh, yeah.
You change the program that relates to Windows accessibility icon to cmd.bat. And then you log in, then you open up the PC as normal. You then go into you then click that button. You've got command prompt, which is full administrator. Nets user done.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, I thought you
joking.
could change the password within the recovery mode. But maybe that's just me, or maybe I'm thinking of literally doing the way that you just said.
The way I've said is the best way. It's proved time and time before. I used to, for example, you know me, I do my own IT company. Someone says I've lost my password. I'm not joking. I have a hard drive full of tools, software, keys, and everything else. Things that I use on a day-to-day basis to help me out. And those software, there was no software. Don't get me wrong, I did some searching for software to do this and everything else, and the software that came up was sitting about £700,000. Actually, no, 700 to about £2,000. That's more likely. And within those £700 to £2,000, none of them were changing CMD in the Windows utility. I believe my lock screen still has that. Let me just do that and see if it does. The accessibility.
Make your computer.
Nope, no, it doesn't. It has got a stupid narrator. No, I haven't changed it, but there is that option, and it's been open. It's always been open because it's a program in C Windows System 32. I believe it's in that place. C Windows System 32. That's one. I believe it's called accessibility or something. I think it's something stupid like accessibility. I can't remember what it's called. It's something like accessibility. But literally you just change that to CMD, and that's it. It'll run.
Yeah.
But all you have to do is just rename that file to accessibility_old. Done. And rename cmd.bat